Hey, appreciate you guys being here. Just to recap real quick on Saturday, really proud of how our team played. We played extremely hard, not clean in a lot of ways on both sides, really in all three phases. But I really liked the way we competed against a really good football team. Coach Freeze and I were talking after the game. We feel like we both have good teams, but we both played really sloppy at times. And in a big game like that, I thought we gave ourselves opportunities to win the game. Obviously, getting off to a fast start was great. We were able to run the football, mix in throws, really the first two drives. And then we kind of went through a lull there for 4 or 5 series. And, it was a short game, too. I thought they had a plan to limit our number of plays. And when you're not able to get first downs and stay on the field, then that plays right into their hand. Really thought our defense played well for the most part. A few things early, but we adjusted well. And really, Malik Willis probably held him in check as good as we possibly could. He made some big-time conversions on 4th down and 3rd down with his legs, which we knew he'd make his share of plays. But I really liked the way we adjusted, and we gave ourselves an opportunity. We missed a great opportunity, obviously, to get a big win here at home. But at the same time, I really felt like we built some really good momentum and for the rest of the season. Looking back, our fans were great. We had a big-time crowd. It was loud and definitely helped us play better. And what a special day on 9/11 with all the things. I thought our administration and our people that run our game day, man, it was unbelievable. The flyovers and all the different things that went along with that. So very proud day to be a Troy Trojan. And obviously we didn't get to win, and which is disappointing. But lots to learn from, and really some good teaching moments from that game that I think will help us as we move forward, get into the meat of our schedule. Looking ahead, obviously go to Southern Miss this week. Storied program, really, really good football team, year in and year out. Got a new head coach in Will Hall who does an excellent job. He's been a head coach before at some lower levels, but you can see his fingerprints all over this team. Been very successful coordinator at Tulane. Obviously, was also at Memphis and Louisiana Lafayette. And I've known Will for a long time. Comes from a coaching family. Just a very, very really good football coach, and also a great person. And I know he's doing a great job over there. And you can see his team. I mean, they're built like his teams have been in the past, and can definitely present a lot of problems on offense for sure. Defensively, Austin Armstrong, their defensive coordinator, been really impressed with what I've seen on film. First 2 games, he's does a great job of, I think, adjusting. And in both of those games, there were 2 different types of teams, and he had a good plan for both. So really thought that he's doing a great job. And defensively, they got some athletes that can run and hit and tackle, and really, really typical Southern Miss team from that standpoint. I know they're 1-1 on the season. Obviously, got a big win against Grambling State at home. Offensively, I think Frank Gore is who their leader is. Their running back, really impressed with him. He's kind of on all these watch lists and awards for the preseason. He led them in rushing in 2020, second team all-conference. Dad, Frank Gore, is NFL player for a long time, so he's got that lineage for sure. And you can see it, man. He runs powerful. He's got good vision. He's going to be a chore. We need to do a great job of tackling him and not letting him get loose on us. Defensively, they got a lot of guys that run around. I think the safety, Malik Short, sticks out to me really. He's a guy that's played a lot of games there. I think he's got a lot of experience. He's kind of led their team in pass breakups and honorable mention in 2020 for their conference. So an athletic guy that can really make plays. I think they do a great job of putting him in position to help in the run game as well as in pass coverage. So it's a big challenge for us anytime you go on the road. This is a fun game to play because I think it's 2 traditional quality programs that, we've played in the past. I think in 2019 we played here and it was a shootout. I don't remember the score, but it was 40-something, I think. So big-time shootout game. That was my first year here. And then I think 2 years before I got here, we went over there and played them at their place. So it's a good game. It's a good rivalry. Again, another out-of-conference challenge for us, and I think one that we can use as we get into conference play to again, see where we are and get us ready for a good conference schedule. So, with that being said, I'll take any questions.
Yeah, Coach. On Saturday after the game, we talked about the run game and just the kind of the struggles they had on Saturday. You mentioned looking over the film to see, what went wrong and how you could fix things. Just curious what you saw and what you guys are hoping to do in the run game Saturday.
Yeah, the other side had a lot to do with it. We lost some one-on-one battles in the blocking up front, didn't maintain our blocks all the time as the game carried on, which is something that was when you play good teams, that's what happens. But also we mis-ID'd some things in the run game. When you ID the run game, you're trying to figure out, okay, who are we all working to? And we got to do a better job up front of getting all five on the same page every snap. There were some big runs there that we didn't get because of that. When you look back, our explosive plays, we want 10 a game. We had 6 in the passing game and none in the run game. So that was kind of the story of the night for us, I think. And so for us, we got to make sure we get communicated, get ID'd right, and then obviously we got to maintain our blocks and win at the point of contact. And there was times we did, but not consistent enough.
Thank you. This is John and Desmond. A couple of questions. You've had 2 extra point kick blocks in the first 2 games. What have you seen on film when you've gone back and looked at that? And the second question, I know you spent some time at Southern Miss, and they can have a pretty good, crowd experience there as well. And this will be the first time your team's played really in front of a road crowd in a couple of years. What can that factor into the game as well?
Yeah, so the blocked extra points is a personnel thing. We got to get changed. We thought we had it fixed, and now we're going to change personnel. Same exact spot as the first one. So that's something we got to fix with somebody else there. Yeah, Southern Miss, obviously similar to us, they always have a really good crowd, and it will be loud. And that's a great point, considering it's been really 2 years since we played in front of a road crowd, a big crowd on the road. Obviously, last year we even played a game at BYU with nobody in the stands, which was definitely weird. But yeah, this will be something we have to be prepared for. I mean, from a noise standpoint, especially on third downs, I know that place can get loud, and I'm sure they're excited now getting that win at home and looking pretty good doing it. So definitely a challenge for us handling the noise. It's something we've already talked about, and we'll get a good plan together for our team throughout the week.
Coach, we talked about go ahead.
Sorry. During the preseason, Coach, one of the things you really talked about was the defense and how successful the defense has been. Just how impressed have you been with them through 2 games?
Yeah, we made a lot of strides last year. I think I talked a lot about that during the off-season time, and obviously we've continued to play good through the first 2 games. There were some things early on that we didn't handle well, but some of that goes along with the speed of the game. You go against scouts all week and getting ready for that opponent, and then boom, the speed's so much quicker, and you have to get adjusted to it. I think we did that. Brandon and his guys did a nice job of making an adjustment or two to help us schematically. But at the end of the day, pretty pleased so far for sure. I think when you look at us on defense, I think we'll run and tackle in space pretty well. We did miss a couple on Malik Willis, but a lot of people are going to miss on him some. He's a fantastic player and athlete. But, for us, I think continue to play good Troy defense, which obviously over the years when we won championships here, that's what's been kind of synonymous is our defense. So really proud of those guys so far. We've got more depth than we've had, which has helped us. We've not had to play near as many snaps, which has also helped us. So I think we got a lot to build on moving forward.
Yeah, Coach, just to follow up on Haley's question and John's question, talk about going on the road. The defense has played well. How much have they kind of fed off the crowd and the excitement in the crowd? And, how much will that change again going on the road where the crowd will probably be a little silent when the Eagles have the ball in offense?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, obviously playing at home, you always have that extra adrenaline and emotion, and especially on third downs when they were getting loud and so forth. But, I think anytime you go on the road, you got to be able to handle the atmosphere where you're playing. I've played on the road in a lot of places that, it's really loud and really hard. And I think we have to approach that this way. And kind of when you go on the road, you got to have that mentality, us versus the world. You don't have as many fans there, and we got to lock arms and support each other and make sure our communication is really good. I think that's the key when you're on the road is communicating offensively and defensively, in a hostile environment. And that's something we definitely will stress all week.
Coach, you talked earlier about the run game and getting it started up and everything. Looking at the Southern Miss defense, they haven't given up much on the ground first 2 weeks of the season. How do you go about exploiting your rushing attack and getting it back against the Eagles?
Yeah, I think you're right. They played really good run defense in both games, and they have a really good front. I think their front four, up front, are guys that are really active and good football players. And really, we've seen that the first 2 weeks as well. Even Southern, their defensive front was big and athletic. Obviously, last week Liberty was tremendous up front as well. But I think for us, it's not about what we're doing. We just got to do it better. When I go back and look at the film, we have hats for everybody that's assigned that's there. Scheme's good. It just comes down to being more consistent and finishing blocks. And at the end of the day, the game is still about blocking and tackling. And that's something we have to improve on up front, and tight ends involved, running backs as well. But do a better job of maintaining our blocks and finishing blocks. And I think when we start doing that consistently, you'll see some big runs.
Coach, you have a lot of connections back to Hattiesburg on your staff. Cole Weeks even played here. You were an offensive coordinator in Hattiesburg. Just could you reflect on maybe what that time was like? You had some pretty good football players on the team when you were the OC for Southern Miss.
Yeah, I think we got about 6 guys here that were there with me. When I think I counted that right last night. The 2 years I was there, that was my first opportunity to be a coordinator in college. It was really 2 good years. It's a great place. We enjoyed our time there, living there as a family, and also obviously coaching there. Todd Monken, our head coach, was unbelievable, and I learned a ton from him. And you're right, we had some good players on that team. I want to say most all that offense, with the exception of 1 or 2 guys, got an opportunity in the NFL, a couple still playing. So definitely have some good memories there. But, this Saturday, I also remember how hard it was to come in there and play on the road when teams would come in. So I'm on the other side of it now, and it's going to be a huge challenge for us. But, obviously I think Hattiesburg's a special place, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
It's often said that you make your greatest jump in progress from game 1 to game 2. If that adage is true, even though I know you went from a win to a loss, from winning game 1 to a loss against Liberty, what did you see from your team in terms of improvement from game 1 to game 2?
Yeah, I think that is a great point, because you get over, there's no preseason games in college football. There's no jamboree scrimmages like high schools or whatever. So, that first game, there's always, nerves. There's always the excitement of playing game 1. Obviously, week 2, we played a much, much better opponent. And, that led to its own problems. But I think Hugh would tell you on Liberty's side, too, we're both just kind of sloppy. Even he was frustrated with his guys on offense as well. Now, I do think there's 2 pretty good defenses on the field, which had something to do with it. But we continued to play pretty disciplined football, which I thought was good. Not very many penalties. We did have the one holding call, which, man, I still don't know how that was called. But at the end of the day, they made the call, and it really stunted us there on one drive. But the biggest thing that I saw was we continued to tackle well in space. So that was something we focused on defensively, and not giving up explosives. And, when you hold a team like Liberty to just a few of those, I think you've done a really nice job. And then, offensively, I thought we, for the most part, I thought we made great decisions at quarterback. I know he threw the one pick where he left the ball inside, but we didn't take as big a step offensively in my mind, especially in the run game, as we needed to. We ran the ball decent in the second half against Southern, but we need to take another step. Like I mentioned earlier, finishing blocks, doing a better job of maintaining those blocks up front, I think is really important for us.
And kind of piggybacking off that, Coach, Taylor Powell's been your guy.
Yeah.
What impressed you the most about him as the quarterback position?
Yeah, I think his presence. I mean, he's got a very calm presence. Seems to be very much in control. The moment's not too big for him. He does a great job of getting us in and out of the right plays in the run game and pass game. We have a lot of things that we do that probably a lot of people don't realize to try to get us in the best pass, the best run we can be in. I know the long run against Southern, he checked to that, and And then the run to that I think Kamani had the other night, the longest run he had, he also checked to that one, getting protection right and so forth. He does a great job of managing what we're trying to do. He studies a lot, and Gunner does the same thing. He came in against Southern and really picked right up. But Taylor's been impressive. He's been very accurate, and really just can think he'll continue to grow and improve as the year goes.